Hey, big guy, how you doing? Here's your first goal in your self-improvement journey. Pay attention for the entirety of this unedited video I have for you. When it comes to self-improvement, a big thing you have to learn and practice and get better at is paying attention. Maybe you have degenerate friends, maybe they make you feel alone. You don't really have interest in the same thing they're doing. But this pain of loneliness that you have is tempting you to go pursue the things that they do. I'm going to plead with you to not give in to that, but instead think about the long term. Think about something called delayed gratification, where the things that you really want that make you happy are going to happen later, but not right now. So let's face it. I mean, you're watching self-improvement content, so you already know this. There's a lot of degenerate people in today's world. They just run from one stimulus to the other with no real regulation or self-control. So they'll do things like junk food, such as pizza or McDonald's or whatever crap is out there these days. They just don't treat their bodies with respect. They will look at porn, sit there and do a spank bank for like 3 hours in a day with no ambition or doing anything with their life really. They're, I mean, on the flip side of this, maybe they're engaging in lots of degenerate sex and just being totally irresponsible and having no self-control. Or they do drugs, or they surround themselves with people who do drugs, or both. And the people that they surround themselves with, they don't even like. Well, let's think about like the long-term consequences of these choices. So when it comes to junk food, the most common ones that come to mind, I hope these come to mind for you, is obesity and diabetes. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a fat diabetic in life. That doesn't sound very fun. I overcame my porn addiction, which I'll probably talk about in the future on this channel. But something that I've learned from it personally, as well as you can look this up. When it comes to porn addiction, even after you quit the addiction, you have cognitive issues with forming relationships, and you get crippling anxiety, and especially in social settings. You don't know how to talk to people. Degenerate sex, I mean, for the most part, just the people that engage in degenerate sex, they're also like they're all having a lot of rampant sex. So diseases, I don't want chlamydia. I hope you don't either. And kids you didn't intend for. So one of the final things, drugs. Drugs are a very real part of the world today. And unfortunately, like serious addiction issues can come from this, even to the point of death. After all, when it comes to street drugs, you're altering your brain chemistry to the point where you're physically reliant on it. This like symptoms of withdrawal can kill people. It's an awful thing. Now, these are all the bad things. Here come the good things. I'll walk you through just a simple foundation that'll truly give you the ability to focus on your long-term goals. And that is meditation, journaling, reading, and weightlifting. Meditation has by far been the most helpful for me in my life, from things like mental health and being able to actually focus on tasks at hand or the people in front of me. And I don't really get brain fog anymore. One of the most important parts of meditation that you should remember that I've seen in my own life is something called mindfulness. Now, mindfulness, like a simple bro science way to explain it, you give yourself mental space to think despite what's going on. No matter what's going on around you, you have the ability to think. Whether you're tempted, whether there's a car crash, someone screaming about their lost cat, you actually have the ability to think despite what you feel. It gives you, wow, throat's getting dry, man. It gives you the ability to have self-awareness, especially over your habits and your patterns. I don't know if you have trauma cycles in your life, but meditation, alongside with journaling later in this video, it'll really, really help you see your patterns. And lastly, at least on the tangent of meditation, mental health. For me, what it really did for me was lower my anxiety. I just I've slowed down so much more from who I used to be. I mean, I can even have like full-blown conversations with people now. I used to just run away and hide in my house like a hermit. I didn't do even half of this stuff, like suck at YouTube videos or whatever. The second thing I mentioned was journaling. Journaling for me has allowed me to see all of the progress I've made in this. Well, it's been a short journey, but I've seen most steps I've made so far. I started journaling January? No, December. I started self-improvement rather recently. It hasn't been around for a while, but like November to January is when I can say I really started to take journaling seriously, and it actually helps. It helps you deal with the real pains and issues in your life. I don't know if you have childhood trauma or chronic stress or whatever you've been through, but it actually gives you a place to just mentally dump all of your thoughts. It gives you the ability to get an outside in view of what you're going through. So not only do you get this mental dump, but in regards to the deeper questions of life, like why am I here? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Why do I keep relapsing? Why do I keep cheating on my diet? It gives you this huge ability to self-reflect and to really think about why you do what you do. It's a pretty cool like feedback meta, I guess you could say. Like it's really effective. All of the successful men in history have had journals, by the way. Thirdly, reading. Reading has an insane value, and if you were to be addicted to something, you should hope to be addicted to reading. It's like, it's such a powerful tool to have in your life. One of the biggest benefits I've noticed from reading is that I can articulate way better than I used to. I learned that when you read words, when you're reading your books or so on, you're actually speaking them. Like, I don't know where exactly, like maybe it's around here, but these people were tested. They're reading a book or whatever. You can hold a microphone to your throat and you're actually saying the words that you're reading. So if you struggle with speaking to people, reading books is actually not a bad way to start doing it. Another thing, it trains you to focus. When you're just sitting there, maybe you're relaxed, maybe you're tense, but you have a book in front of you. That's focusing, and everyone these days has got an internet addiction, so it really helps with that too. Thirdly, there have been people who have accomplished the goals that you may have in mind right now, and they've put them in books. They've given you step-by-step guides on how to get to exactly where you want to go. You should really start reading. And lastly, weightlifting. A lot of people are insecure about their bodies these days. Some people deserve it, others don't. A lot of it stems from Instagram models, and just like before I get into all the benefits that I found from weightlifting, most Instagram models don't look like Instagram models. Shockingly, the main benefit I've noticed from weightlifting is I sleep way better. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like when you have this huge exercise regime and then you're tired and then you sleep like a baby the next day, maybe you wake up tired. I don't know. I haven't met you. But for me, I've noticed that I just sleep so much better. I always had so much energy at the end of the day when I wasn't exercising. Secondly, mental health is a huge issue today. Everyone's depressed and anxious. Exercise, you can look this up if you don't believe me. Exercise is equivalent to or better than treating depression. I'll say that again. Exercise is equivalent to or better than treating depression than that of antidepressants. It is so, I don't understand why people don't exercise. It's so good for the longevity of your life. You feel better, you're happier, you're less anxious. It's an all around just absolute pillar you should have in your daily routine. One other thing, like let's just be brutally honest with ourselves. If you had your dream body, if you liked, maybe you do like the way you look in the mirror, but you want to look even better. When you accomplish goals such as having your dream body, you feel more confident, you're probably way happier. you feel accomplished. And like, sure, you can take nice Instagram photos, but the real background underlying mental peace you get from accomplishing this, to not be so insecure anymore, that's the real goal of it. And no, I know that there's like many forms of exercise out there, such as calisthenics and CrossFit, or even just athletic running or so on. Whatever you want to do is fine. I just bring up weightlifting because it's really what's helped me, man. I really hope this guide helps you on beginning your journey on self-improvement. As you can tell, I'm new to recording videos. And props to you, and you have my respect if you actually paid attention all the way through. I mean, if your mind wandered and you're practicing, that's one thing. But if you stuck to the end of the video, you have my respect. I hope that helps. I hope you learned something. I hope these four foundations of meditating, journaling, reading, and weightlifting really become parts of your life that you integrate into your daily schedule, replacing your bad habits, so that as a byproduct of having these, we'll call them four main pillars, that you start to produce long-term goals and results to that, as well as make progress in your life. Hope that helps, bud. Take care for now.